Before I begin, I was not alive in 1947. But I think after the crash in Roswell, which is where I am today, at the Western Inn, there was a lot of fear. And I believe that the space race between Russia and the United States was to quell that fear. Hence, what I'm about to read to you. My story that I will publish. The Hoax of 69. Oftentimes we say something's not near in order to make people not fear. And I think that's what happened. Have you ever been fooled and the last to be told? Page 1. Page 2. And there are only 29 pages. When somebody tells a lie, more lies need to be told so that the original lie is believed. Page 2. Page 3. It is possible to get lost entirely in a made-up story that's not real. And you can be fooled for a long time if people you trust aren't honest. Page 3. Page 4. How about a half-century lie that many today still believe is the truth? Page 5. What would you do in either situation? Either telling the lie or believing it. Page 6. If the truth were to come out, would you be relieved, angry, disappointed? Page 7. Would you realize the truth if it were revealed? Or would you stay stuck in old thinking? Page 8. Our identity is based off of what we believe. And some of us grasp firmly onto some ideas. Like the Tooth Fairy, or Santa Claus when we were younger. Page 9. Growing up is accepting the truth, even when it hurts a lot. Page 10. Denial or avoiding facts keeps all those involved frozen in time. This is what happened in 1969. Page 11 has 8 facts of science, and you need to listen carefully to what I'm about to read. It's what some of you don't want to accept. But think with an open mind, and the scary part of the story is over after page 11. Fact 1. Our magnetosphere, which blocks cosmic waves from the sun, is supercharged with molecular breaking waves. In parentheses, NASA says that it's the biggest obstacle to deep space travel. Second fact. Rockets need oxygen to burn, like a candle and a flame. Put a glass over the burning candle, and once the flame eats up all the oxygen, the flame goes out. No oxygen, no fire. There's no oxygen in space. It's a trapped gas inside of our atmosphere. This is what creates heating during the day and cooling at night. Fact 3. If you look at the footage from the moon rover, from the wheels, material kicks up and it falls at the same speed as it would on Earth. If the moon has 30% gravity, the material kicked up would take at least twice as long to fall. And that's not what we see. Fact 4. The moon has no rain, no clouds, and no atmosphere. Wouldn't it be really dusty? Fact 5. The temperature of space is over 200 degrees negative. Rubber turns to glass at minus 58. Fact 6. Where's the gas tank on the Apollo capsule that allowed them to take off from the moon and travel all the way back to Earth? Fact 7. If you look on all the images of the Apollo capsule, there's a window. Wouldn't a window allow harmful cosmic waves into the cockpit? And fact 8. If they could see to get down the ladder, tell us how beautiful the moon looks. And hit golf balls. It means cosmic waves hit their eyes, and a miracle of them not going blind and disintegrating happened, along with their nose, their mouth, their ears, their hair, their skin, their teeth, their jawbone, and their brain. The scary part's over. Now let's continue on with page 12. How smart do you think you are? List 3 people who are smarter than you and 3 people who are less smart. Page 13. Why did you just place limits on your own knowledge and assume what other people know and what they don't know? Page 14. Just because you're not at a desk in a classroom does not mean that you know it all. A degree is a mark of achievement. It's never a finish line, along with a position in an organization. Page 15. Anybody can be the smartest person in a room full of people. But when we have a conversation, we do a couple things wrong. Verify. Most people don't listen in a conversation. You can catch them by asking them to repeat what you just said. Many times they can't do it. Fact 2. Most people decide ahead of time what they think. Fact 3. Repetition and what we've been told creates our beliefs. Fact 4. Your friends and their thinking affects what you believe. And fact 5. Most people hold on to what they thought before, and it allows no new information or ideas to be absorbed or a new perspective. Page 16. We're all creatures of habit, and we do the same things a lot. I'm going to give you some examples. What do you order on a pizza? What neighborhoods are you in? What friends do you hang out with? What route do you take to get to work? And do you have a favorite color? Page 17. We are all unique. And we're made the way that we are only one time in forever. Nobody's ever had your DNA. And nobody should ever have your DNA in the future. Page 18. Living in autopilot today is acceptable and expected. Life can become so easy, especially in America, that years and decades pass in the blink of an eye. Page 19. The best way to get the most out of life, and the one time that you're here, is to do a few things. There are 5. Be spontaneous. Take a chance. Follow your gut or intuition. Appreciate the present, no matter how difficult whatever you're going through is at the time. And every person whose path you cross could teach you something new. Or you could teach them something new. A little side note here. My book, The Hoax of 69, is a way so that we learn how to communicate with each other again. This is something that the government does not want. They want us to live isolated lives and to live it through a screen. That way we get what we want and we're happy. But we're not really connected to each other. Page 20. Post-COVID, people can feel very awkward meeting for the first time. However, if you remember, you have something to share. Find out what it is. Page 21. Ironically, the first thing that comes to your mind when you first meet somebody is the thing that you need to share. How many times in a conversation do you or the other person say, I was going to tell you that, but we got talking about something else? Page 22. The more times you initiate a conversation with someone, the easier it is to communicate with other people. Page 23. For all the press releases that our government gives to the media to tell us, we should all be on the same page, but we're not. Why do you think that is? Page 24. List 3 enemies you have, and 3 people or groups who have made you an enemy, and list the reason why for each on a piece of paper. Page 25. Look at those reasons you wrote down closely and ask yourself a question. Are these reasons really worth having an argument or disagreement over? Page 26. It seems as humans, we often make a big deal out of things that are really small. Page 27. Landing on the moon was a really big deal. But do you believe? Page 28. Our homes are so very near. Have you ever known a neighbor you never met? And the last page. Too often, we rely on what others say, and we can't always tag along to learn fact from fiction. The